RHOBH, Crystal Kung Minkoff addresses return rumors. Crystal Kung Minkoff stepped away from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills a few years back. However, there have been rumors that she could be rejoining the show. Recently, the former housewife herself addressed these rumors through multiple outlets. Crystal Kung Minkoff was recently asked about these rumors on her podcast and later at a gala. King Minkoff is an entrepreneur who co-founded Real Coco, which specializes in coconut products, with her brother. In her personal life, Crystal married filmmaker Rob Minkoff in 2007, with the two sharing 2 children together. To many, Crystal is best known for being a cast member on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, joining in 2021. Appearing for around 3 seasons, she exited the series in 2024. At the time, she made history as the first Asian American cast member on the Beverly Hills franchise. Recently, Crystal attended the 33rd annual Race to Erase MS Gala on June 5. During the moment, she spoke with E! News, with the outlet asking about her possibly rejoining the franchise. This was in reference to comments Crystal made during her Humble Brag podcast after co-host Cynthia Bailey brought up rumors about her returning to the franchise. At the time, Crystal shared, "I'm always having conversations in general at Bravo. Just, doing little things here and there." The Real Housewives alum also talked about how her podcast gave her perspective. As the former housewife continued, "Would I go back? I always dream about the friend role now. Like, you've made that the ideal role, but it just depends on the cast. But yeah, I think I'd be ready. I think I'm finally ready." When Bailey asked if she was open to either role, Crystal noted, "I'm open to a conversation for sure." During her more recent conversation, Crystal offered some clarification on what she said. She noted, "It took a couple of years for me to even think about doing it again." As she noted, she found herself thinking about what she would have done differently on the show this year, feeling this wasn't something she ever thought about the year before. Crystal continued, "It wasn't a big deal, but it kind of became a thing. But, I just love Bravo, and I love the whole experience." She also noted that the podcast helped her just be more open with what she felt. Ultimately, however, fans will have to stay tuned in to see if Crystal indeed makes her return to the Bravo series. What is your reaction to this recent share from Crystal King Minkoff? Have you been following this story? Are you keeping up with Real Housewives news? Make sure you come back to TV, Shows Ace, for all the latest reality TV and celebrity news. RHOBH, Crystal Kung Minkoff addresses return rumors. "I'm finally ready for a Beverly Hills comeback." For years, Crystal Kung Minkoff was one of the most talked-about stars on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Whether she was standing her ground during emotional cast confrontations or opening up about deeply personal struggles, Crystal always managed to keep viewers talking. Even after exiting the Bravo franchise, fans never stopped wondering if her story in Beverly Hills was truly over. Now, those questions have returned in a big way. Recent rumors suggesting Crystal could make a comeback to RHOBH have spread quickly across social media, fan forums, and entertainment news. After weeks of speculation, the former housewife has finally addressed the chatter herself, and while she didn't confirm an official return, she admitted something that has fans buzzing more than ever. She's finally open to the idea. Rumors spark online. The latest speculation began after Bravo fans noticed increasing conversations about possible cast changes for future seasons of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. As former housewives often become part of casting discussions whenever shakeups occur, Crystal's name quickly entered the conversation. Fans pointed out that Crystal has remained closely connected to the Bravo world despite leaving the series. Through her podcast, public appearances, and continued friendships with housewives across multiple franchises, many believe the timing felt right for a return. Instead of ignoring the rumors, Crystal decided to address them directly. Crystal speaks out. During an appearance connected to her Humble Brag podcast with fellow housewife Cynthia Bailey, Crystal admitted that the return rumors weren't entirely surprising. She explained that after spending time away from the cameras, she now feels emotionally different than she did immediately after leaving the show. According to Crystal, stepping away gave her the opportunity to rediscover herself outside reality television. Rather than feeling exhausted by Housewives drama, she says she has reached a point where she can actually imagine returning. That simple admission immediately reignited fan excitement. "I'm finally ready." Perhaps the biggest headline came when Crystal acknowledged she finally feels ready. After exiting RHOBH, she admitted she wasn't interested in looking back. The experience had been intense. She needed distance. She wanted to focus on family, business opportunities, and her own happiness. But time changed everything. Crystal explained that after 2 years away, she occasionally finds herself wondering how she would respond to current storylines or cast dynamics. That thought process, she says, never happened immediately after leaving. Now it does. For many longtime viewers, that statement sounds like someone who hasn't completely closed the door. Would she return full-time? Crystal also discussed what kind of role would interest her most. Interestingly, she suggested that appearing as a friend of the Housewives has become increasingly appealing. Rather than immediately returning as a full-time diamond holder, she joked that the reduced filming schedule and greater flexibility sound attractive. However, she didn't completely rule out returning full-time either. Instead, she emphasized that everything would depend on the cast and the overall direction of the show. That balanced response has only fueled additional speculation among Bravo fans. Why Crystal left? When Crystal exited RHOBH after season 13, many viewers were genuinely surprised. She had become the franchise's first Asian American full-time housewife and gradually developed into one of the show's most honest personalities. Her willingness to discuss eating disorders, family dynamics, race, and personal insecurities made her stand out from many reality television personalities. Despite growing fan support, Bravo announced that Crystal would not return after 3 seasons. While disappointing at the time, Crystal later said she viewed the departure as an opportunity rather than a setback. Building life after Bravo. Leaving Housewives didn't slow Crystal down. Instead, she focused on expanding multiple areas of her career. She launched projects connected to podcasting. She continued building her business interests. She attended entertainment events. She maintained relationships within the Bravo community. Most importantly, she says she became more comfortable simply being herself. Crystal explained that hosting a podcast allows her personality to shine without the constant pressure of reality television editing. Ironically, that confidence may be exactly what's making a Housewives return more appealing now. Fans want her back. Across social media, many Bravo viewers reacted enthusiastically after hearing Crystal's comments. Supporters believe she never received enough appreciation during her original run. Others argue that recent seasons could benefit from someone who balances emotional honesty with calm communication. Many fans praised her intelligence, humor, and willingness to discuss meaningful issues. Some even suggested she deserved another opportunity because her strongest seasons came just before she left. Not everyone agrees, of course. Some viewers still believe Crystal struggled to create explosive television compared to some of Beverly Hills' biggest personalities. But even critics acknowledge that she brought authenticity to the franchise. Cast chemistry matters. Crystal made it clear that any possible return would largely depend on who else appears in the cast. Chemistry has always been one of the biggest ingredients for Housewives' success. A strong ensemble creates memorable friendships. It also creates unforgettable conflicts. Crystal suggested that returning would only make sense if the relationships felt natural, rather than forced. That comment hints she isn't simply looking for television exposure. She wants the experience to feel enjoyable. A different perspective. Another interesting point Crystal raised involved how differently she now watches Housewives. While appearing on the series, she admitted she rarely watched episodes because she already knew what happened behind the scenes. Watching often felt stressful. Now, as a viewer again, she enjoys seeing the franchise from a fresh perspective. She says understanding how reality television works actually makes watching even more entertaining. That renewed appreciation appears to have softened many of her previous frustrations. Cynthia Bailey's influence. Crystal's podcast partnership with Cynthia Bailey also appears to have influenced her thinking. Bailey, who has successfully transitioned between full-time housewife and recurring appearances, offered insight into different ways reality television can fit into someone's life. Crystal admitted the friend role now seems especially attractive after watching Cynthia's experience. It offers flexibility while still keeping connections to the Bravo audience. Bravo's future. Although Crystal has expressed openness, there has been no official confirmation from Bravo regarding her return. Network executives have not announced casting decisions based on her recent comments. For now, everything remains speculation. Still, Bravo has brought back former housewives before. Several franchises have welcomed familiar faces years after departures. That history gives fans reason to believe anything is possible. Why timing matters. Sometimes reality television simply comes down to timing. When Crystal originally left, she needed space. Today, she feels more confident. She's built new projects. She's strengthened her personal identity. She's no longer defining herself by one television series. Ironically, that independence may make her an even stronger housewife than before. Family first. Throughout her career, Crystal has consistently emphasized her family. Married to filmmaker RHOBH Minkoff and raising 2 children, she has often spoken about balancing career ambitions with motherhood. If a housewife's return ever happens, it's clear family considerations will remain one of her biggest priorities. Reality television demands significant filming commitments. Crystal appears determined not to sacrifice family stability simply for screen time. Fans continue campaigning. Following her latest interviews, online campaigns encouraging Bravo to bring Crystal back gained momentum. Many supporters argued she deserves another opportunity because audiences understand her personality better now than during her original seasons. Others pointed out that the franchise continues evolving, making now an ideal moment for familiar faces to return. Whether Bravo shares that opinion remains unknown. No official deal yet. Despite widespread rumors, Crystal emphasized that no official agreement currently exists. She hasn't confirmed negotiations. She hasn't revealed production meetings. She hasn't announced signing a contract. Instead, she simply acknowledged that she's emotionally open to having those conversations if they happen. That's a significant difference. Being willing to return isn't the same as actually returning. Final thoughts. Crystal Kung Minkoff's latest comments have reignited excitement across the Bravo fandom. After spending time away from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she says she finally feels emotionally ready to consider stepping back into the spotlight. Whether that would be as a full-time housewife or in a recurring friend role remains uncertain, and no official casting announcement has been made. Still, her openness marks a major shift from the period immediately following her exit. For now, the rumors remain just that, rumors, but Crystal has made one thing clear: the door is no longer closed.